What's up, everyone? Welcome to another cracka crumbs update. That's right. I'm worthy to hold the mighty Monier. Ha 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 ha. And I can control lightning. Ooh, gonna get you. Gonna get you. Nah. It's one of the many cool things that are in my cave that I'm actually packing up as of right now. Um, this is gonna be a very odd update, so I apologize in advance because it's not really 100% comic book related because I didn't get any shipments in, unfortunately, unless I get one late because I think the mailman hates me. And my last update I showed you, I actually got that pretty late. Um, but I actually wanted to go over something I might need everyone's help with if they can figure it out, because I sure as hell can't figure it out, or at least point me in the right direction, which is tough because this is like a comic book community, which is not that anything wrong with that. Like I said, comic book community is cool, but hopefully this will reach communities in general. No offense. Had a very odd night. Very weird dreams and very weird, not really nightmares, but just weird stuff in general. And I'm going to go over that in a sec. So like I said, it's going to be really strange. But again, hopefully people can help out. And before I get into that whole nightmare and whatever stuff, I want to thank some new subscribers because I'm up to 40 now. Very, very cool. Appreciate it. The good stuff. Thanks for subscribing. And this name I know is a fact I'm going to get wrong. McChick1? McCheck1? I don't know. MICCHEQUE1? I suck at pronouncing names, so I apologize. But thanks for subscribing. Um, and also, before I get into all this, I want to talk to Manga Stomp Time 07. You were saying that you don't know who's helping the community because your subscriptions have gone up. Uh, I'd like to know too because my subscriptions have gone up and my views have gone up. Not that I'm complaining, I'm really appreciative. So whoever, uh, appreciate it. Thank you. Very cool. A couple of things I wanted to go over. Thank God for writing stuff down. Gary, Mongo Stomp Time 07. Nothing wrong with whatever writing down a list because you're saying on your video, your recent one, that you sometimes forget stuff to put in there and then you gotta wait. You can always make another video too, my friend. I mean, I go for part twos and stuff like that. More videos, the merrier. Anyway, oh yeah, you were talking about your Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man #1. Very cool. Welcome to the Spider-Man fold, my friend. We have cookies. But anyway, you talk about how it's the exact cover of an Amazing Spider-Man title, which I do have. It's actually the first appearance of Tarantula, the Amazing Spider-Man something. I can't remember what the hell number it is. I've showed it before, but I don't know why they do that. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I mean, because you have Amazing Spider-Man with Doc Ock, where you were talking about the storyline where his arms by themselves come to life and they, make damage and stuff like that. Same thing happened in Web of Spider-Man number 4 and 5, I think. Different covers, but pretty much the exact same storyline where his arms come alive and smash stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they got lazy. Maybe something screwed up and they printed the wrong story. Who knows? But moving on. Moving on. I want to discuss comments. I really do appreciate everyone putting comments on the video. I really do. I love reading them. I love answering questions. But I want to apologize for some strange reason on my page. When you put a comment on, I don't always get it right away because a lot of times I'll check my inbox and I'll check stuff, and then I'll watch a video and I'll see tons of comments and I don't even know we're there. So if I'm sorry, everyone's like, oh, you didn't answer my comment. I'm going through them now. I'm going through all my videos to check, so you're probably going to answer the comments you might have put months ago. So I apologize. It's not me dissing you in any way. It's just that I didn't see them. So I answer all the comments I can that I see, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to fix it. As well as links. A lot of people are happy that I'm putting the links down there because Mongo Stomp Time 07 came up with the idea, put the links down there and make the community grow, which seems to be working. So props on that, my friend. And a lot of people are happy I'm putting the links. Two things I want to talk about with that is there's no particular order. I'm not favoring one person over the other. It's just the way that it pops up on my screen. I just go across and across or down. So there's no favoritism like, oh, his name was up above before mine, and I know you longer. Nothing to do with it. And two, like I said, a lot of people are happy I'm putting their links. I'm glad to help everyone out. It's no problem at all. But some people are pissed that I'm putting a link up there. So if you don't want me to put your link up there, just send me a comment or a message just saying please don't do it, and I won't do it. I won't put your link up there. It's no problem. Um, all right. Moving on to the weird stuff. Like I said, I had just weird dreams last night, which is very odd because most of the time I don't remember any of them. But one thing when I got up, which is gonna pretty much to my horror, because I heard my fiance scream. I'm like, oh crap, what the hell's going on now, right? As if nothing else could have gone around. And I woke up, which I'll tell you about the dream in a moment. But I woke up and one of my greatest possessions, I guess, was destroyed. You take a look at this. This is me and Stan Lee. Sorry for the glare. And it's got, the VIP ticket that I had right here, and then Wizard World. This I'm actually holding it together because it's really shot. My fiance kind of bumped into it by accident, and the whole thing broke. So it's like, it's I can't describe it. It makes me cry. But so she was really upset because she knows how much I loved it, the meeting Stan Lee and getting the stuff framed. But it's no real big deal. I mean, the photo and everything wasn't destroyed. It was just the frame. So, I tried to tell her, I was like, it's all right. Don't worry about it. But she was all, must have scared the hell out of her because early in the morning she goes to work and it must have just dropped her. I mean, she said she bumped into it. I don't know, but when you scream like that, usually it's by surprise. But anyway, I've been cleaning out my cave like I've shown, and this is where it's gonna get kind of interesting, and I hope somebody might be able to help out with this one. My mother, she passed away in 2007, and I have a lot of her things, like her knickknacks that she always called them, and back in like the late 90s, we were hard up for money, and my mom was like, I really want to, we're gonna have to go and see if we can sell some things, and she had something that I think her grandmother, which is my great grandmother, I guess, gave her, and when she gave me all this stuff, like before she passed away, she's like, keep it and do what you want with it. You can save it for your kids or whatever, and so on and so forth. She gave me a couple things, and she's like, it doesn't, you don't have to sell these things, but you can if you want to, if you really need to. And I was packing up my cave, and this almost got destroyed for like the 50th time this year. It just, this is why I'm kind of getting worried about it, because I think maybe it might have had something to do with the dream. Because last night, in my dream, my mother was telling me, she's like, you really should sell some of the stuff because it's going to wind up broken. And I know how you are about stuff like that. You feel extremely bad, and don't worry about it. I know you also want to open a store, and that's always been one of your dreams there. So if you had to sell some of the things, I won't mind if it would go towards the store, or go towards helping people, or stuff like that. Which is weird because I never get any of that things. And which brings me to this. Like I said, my mother and I we were pretty much out of money back in the late 90s, and we were getting ready to get thrown out of our house because we couldn't pay the rent. And this is something that like I said, my mother got from her grandmother, which I know nothing about. I just know what happened when we went to the antique shop, and hopefully somebody can tell me what the hell is going on with this thing. If anyone knows, I'd really appreciate the comments. Or this is what it looks like. It's a saucer for a teacup, and on the back it says like a Royal Copenhagen. Yeah, Copenhagen of Denmark. And then it's got the little, the water things and the serial number and stuff like that. Now the reason this is interesting is, like I said, I'm cleaning my cave, and again, it almost got destroyed. A bookcase I was messing with, it almost landed on it, and I'm like, oh. And I have it wrapped up in bubble wrap, stuff like that. And I do have a lot of things that my mother gave me that I would never sell. But this one's interesting because when we brought it to an antique shop, all the antiques we showed this guy, he was really not interested. Like, oh, this is from the 70s, this is from the 80s, this is from the 60s, no big deal. But then when my mother showed him this guy's eyes lit up. You could see it like he was trying to hide the fact that he was excited about it. And he asked Mom, he's like, what do you want for it? And she's like, oh, I don't know, what is it worth? Because that's what we're really trying to find out, because we don't want to get screwed over. He's like, oh, I'd give you $500 for it. And she's like, well, what is it, and what is it worth? And the guy, from what he said, is it's a rare saucer to a set, to obviously a tea set, but apparently it's from the Queen of England or something like that, from what he was saying. and the saucer is very hard to find. It's the rarest of the pieces, and that's all he would say really. And he's like, "Oh, I'd give you $500." He just kept going over. I give you 500. And I was like, "Well, what is it worth?" She goes, "Because if it's worth like $800 and you give him $500, and you got a deal." But he wouldn't say. He just kept saying, "I'd give you $500." So my mom and I, we walked out. We said, "The hell with it. It's not worth it because we'd really like to know what this is and what it's worth." And it's in perfect shape. There's no dings. There's no, nothing wrong with it at all. And the reason I was thinking about selling it, like I said, my heart is heavy on this because I'm kind of going over it. But this was actually in my dream before I was messing around with the cave. This actually popped up, and Mom was actually holding this, saying, you could sell this if you needed to, but just make sure it's for a good reason, or something. And I believe me, I have a lot of good reasons that are coming around lately. Um, but another weird thing is, my mother and I, when we got to my grandmother's house, after we left, everything fell through and we got homeless again. Um, we called up an antique guy, an appraiser, to come down, and he came down and looked at it, and his eyes lit up. After all the antiques we showed him, again, they weren't interested. And then when we showed him this. The guy's like, "Oh, well, what'd you want for it?" And Mom was like, "I want to know what it is and what it's worth." And the guy said the exact same story. That's a saucer from a tea set. That's very, very rare, because of the watermark or the color, whatever it was. And he offered my mom $1,500 for it. And she's like, "Oh, that's at least a lot more than what the other guy was offering." And she's like, "No, no." And then when she's like, "No, I'm not gonna do it," he's like, "Oh, I'll give you 2,000." He went up to like almost like 2,300 before he's like, "Oh, that's the best I could do." And Mama was like, "I just really want to know what it's worth. Can you just tell me what it's worth?" And wouldn't say. Just wouldn't say. The only thing he said is that if you had the entire set, it would be worth 50 to 60,000, depending on the condition. And then he was saying something that could be worth up to $100,000 for a full set. But he wouldn't say what this is worth, the single piece. But he says it's the rarest of the pieces. So I don't know. So if anyone out there knows anything about these things at all, this saucer or what the hell this stuff is, or any way I could find out a link or something where I can look, because I can't find a single thing on this of what it's worth, and I don't want to go around to an antique thing and sell it, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'll give you $700 for it." I'm like, "Okay, here you go," and then find out later on it's worth like 90 grand. That would just kick me in the ass, especially my mom would probably flip out from beyond the grave and scream at me for the rest of my life. "What'd you do? Oh my God." But like I said, as much as I don't want to sell it, I don't want to see it get destroyed because it's come so close so many times to getting broken, and it would really irk me that if it broke and then I'm like, "Oh, now it's worth nothing," and I would still keep it because it's my mother's and my great grandmother's, but I just think it would be better off if I sold it to somebody who would take better care of it than I'm doing. I mean, like I said, I have it wrapped up. I don't want to display it because I don't want people messing with it, and I put it in a safe spot, but it's just every time I move something, it just always comes so close to breaking. I'm like, "Oh my God." But cool things that my mom that I would never get rid of. She actually made a chess set for my father a long, long time ago when they were dating. This is one of the pieces. It's actually a horse to a chess set. I do have a lot of the pieces, but unfortunately, she made a chessboard out of stone, concrete, or whatever the hell, what marble I think it was, and that actually got destroyed. And you can see another one of the pieces, which I think is one of the pawns for the black side. But I only have 5 pieces out of the entire chess set that survived everything we've gone through, and so I would never get rid of that. So I think my mom, like I said, with the weirdest dream of all, said, "Go ahead, see what you can do with this," because I just feel like it's gonna get broken, and I don't want to see that happen. Especially, no offense, and I know my mom would understand. Especially if you knew my mother, you would know she would understand. She'd rather have me sell it and make money off of it and put it towards something, rather than have it broken and not be worth a damn thing, and then everyone's out of luck. So who knows? But if anyone could tell me about that stuff, please let me know. I'm dying to know. I've looked up antique things, and I'm actually getting ready to go to a couple antique shows in not shows, shops in a week or so. But I like to go prepared. I don't like to go and be like, "Oh, I don't know anything about it." So, and again, I can't find anything on it. Can't find a single thing. But moving on. My friends, they wanted me to show this. I figured, again, this isn't comic book related, I guess, but it is a collection, so I guess you can kind of put that into this thing. But then again, this is my channel, my show. I can do what I want. I don't have to always show comics. I can show all sorts of things. But this is just a couple things I'm very proud of, and I wasn't going to show them because I guess it's especially my mother's saucer thing there, but figure what the hell, might as well throw it in there. This is something my grandfather brought back from World War II, I believe. It's a little toy metal handgun that they had back in the day. The cool thing is you pull the trigger back here very gently, because I don't want to break it, and it still works. Hey, very cool. Not bad from the 40s. They were definitely built to last back then. And something else I thought was just very cool that I kind of framed it. I got to do a better frame and have it professionally done. This is something I picked up from Target as a frame because it just worked. It's in extremely bad condition, I guess, because it's been folded and folded and folded. I didn't even know I had it until when my mother passed away and my grandmother passed away and my uncle had passed away. We were going through the attic and we found a couple things that my grandfather's that I kept, and this was in there. This is a newspaper, as you can see, from 1945 when the war ended. Basically, it says "Peace at last," stuff like that. It's very, very cool. I mean, it is in rough shape, but you can still read everything on here. It just kind of, it's been folded so much, like you can see that it's all like brittle up here. It's just falling apart. But another cool thing about this is that my grandfather actually had, as you can see here, this is the Japanese newspaper when peace was declared. So not only did he have the regular one, but he actually has also in here is the German one. So he's got the American one, there's a German one in here, and a Japanese one from when peace was declared after World War II. Just something very cool. I'm very appreciative, very proud of my grandpa. Tough guy. He was a very tough guy. And obviously, if it wasn't for him, my mom wouldn't have been born, and then I wouldn't have been born. So it kind of, cool. But yeah, it's pretty much everything I want to talk about. Again, I'm sorry that it's not really comic book related. I know people are probably disappointed, but I figured, what the hell, something different. And when I get an eBay shipment, I'll definitely make another update whenever that comes around. And of course, tomorrow is comic book day, where I'm going to be unleashed on the world. But actually, I gotta really be careful because tomorrow I know a lot of stuff's coming out. I know a lot of the new Zeros are coming out, and there's a lot of cool Marvel comics that are coming out. I know one of the Spider-Man titles teams up or fights Deadpool, which looks interesting. Avengers vs. X-Men number 11 comes out tomorrow. So a lot of cool stuff, and my fiance we kind of had a little bit of a tiff, kind of like what Mongo Stumptown was saying about his wasn't really a fight, but it was a heated discussion. Let's put it that way, because I told her, I was, things come out, and originally I had told her that the Zeros were supposed to be monthly because that's what I heard they were supposed to be from my comic book store. Like, oh, they're monthly. They turn out to be weekly, and on top of the fact that the new Marvel stuff coming out, I'm enjoying. It's kind of putting a thing on it because she's like, oh my god, she's like, look at the living room, look at the kitchen. You have comics stacked, as tall as you are, and I'm 6 feet, by the way. Of comics that you haven't put away, that you haven't done anything with. And she goes, they're sitting there, and she goes, then you're in your cave, and you have comics that are stacked up in there that you haven't touched, and you're trying to box this, and trying to box that. And she goes, nothing's getting done, there's just the piles everywhere, and I'm like, whew, damn. But she's right. So I was, like I said, it was a heated discussion, but I was agreeing with her that she has a complete point, and I told her, I said flat out, I was like, there's only so much I can do during the day, because I have to rest. I mean, I'm getting to the point. I used to be able to go a couple days without, stopping, without even resting. But lately, I'm getting old and tired, and it slows me down. And I'm like, ugh, I got to get some rest. And I feel like I'm actually getting a cold or something. So, again, I need rest. So I agreed with her on that, and I had to strike a deal with her because sometimes you got to kind of weigh it out. And that's basically once the Zeros are all done, then I've gotten the Zeros that I'm looking for, and because she really got pissed when I told her about October. I was like, if you think this is bad, wait till October when all the new Marvel stuff drops. So she, that kind of really put her over the edge because of spending money and stuff like that. And me being the evil person, I was like, oh, well, I can always, if I get the store, I'll sell in the store. She's like, you're not going to sell it? All right. And I'm like, oh, all right. But again, I had to make a deal with her. So once the Zeros are all done, I've gotten the ones that I'm looking for, and a couple of the new Marvel stuff is done. And then when the new things come out in October, once they're done, I'm done. I'm gonna cut it because I'm spending way too much money on the new stuff and old stuff. I've been buying a lot of things on eBay, which is bad because I'm going through our bank account like there's no tomorrow, and So I told her, I was like, I will limit myself on Marvel and DC titles to the ones I really really like, and even limit that. So I will cut back extremely on these things. So kind of brought a smile to her face, and we'll have to see what happens. I am gonna definitely cut down because I was spending, back in the day, I used to spend like $300. Well, actually, let's see, like $500 a month on comics and related items, and I was spending like $100 or $200 a week, And then recently, when I really started hitting comics again, getting into it a lot more than I used to be because I hit gaps, money reasons. But yeah, I was getting out of hand. So anyway, thanks for watching my lovely rambling that I have on here. The lovely rambling update. Yeah. But again, if anyone knows anything about that store I was telling you about, or how to find out about that specific thing, let me know. I really appreciate it. Um, yeah, and thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the little like button. Check out the links below. They're good people. They have good videos. They're worth your time. Trust me. And if you really like what you see, hit the subscribe button. If you're someone new and you really like it, hit subscribe, tell your friends, check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next update or the next episode, whichever. Very long update today, so I'm gonna go. Later.